I'm eating a croissant sandwich made with 100% butter.
Whether fresh from the oven at Burger King,
Sure, McDonald's breakfast is good.
fast food restaurants are raking in big bucks for breakfast items.
You walk into McDonald's at 7 a.m., rushing to work, thinking you're just grabbing a quick bite. Trust me, I've been there thousands of times. But what if I told you that single meal contains 1,340 calories, more than half of what most people should eat in an entire day, plus a cocktail of industrial chemicals that are regulated about as strictly as yoga mat foam? Here's the thing, you're not wrong for buying these breakfasts. The marketing is brilliant, the convenience is real, and frankly, these companies have spent billions making sure their food hits every craving button in your brain. But after spending weeks analyzing nutritional data and ingredient lists from America's biggest breakfast chains, I discovered something that changed how I think about morning meals forever. Today, I'm counting down the 14 most nutritionally devastating breakfast traps in America. But here's the difference. I'm also going to show you how to escape them without giving up convenience or taste. Because the truth is, once you see these numbers, you'll never look at fast food breakfast the same way again. Look, I used to love Sonic, the drive-in nostalgia, the convenience, the fact that they'll serve breakfast anytime, but their sausage breakfast toaster taught me that sometimes the simplest-looking meals hide the biggest surprises. Sausage, egg, and cheese on thick Texas toast. Sounds reasonable, right? But here's where it gets interesting. That single sandwich delivers enough sodium to make your ankles swell by lunchtime, and enough chemicals to make you wonder if you're eating breakfast or conducting a science experiment. That thick Texas toast is made with enriched flour that's been stripped of nutrients and then fortified with synthetic vitamins, kind of like burning down a house and then hanging a picture on the rubble. The processed sausage commonly contains sodium nitrite, a preservative that's FDA approved for maintaining color, but has sparked ongoing health debates about nitrosamine formation when heated. Think of it this way. Would you buy breakfast knowing some of its ingredients are regulated about as strictly as foam padding? That's the reality we're living in. Panera markets itself as the artisanal alternative, the place where food is made with care and integrity. But their breakfast numbers tell a completely different story. At 820 calories and 1,300 milligrams of sodium, this single sandwich contains more than half the daily salt recommended for most adults. Think about that for a moment. Before you've even had lunch, you've consumed more sodium than your kidneys are designed to process efficiently in 24 hours. That Asiago basil sounds sophisticated, but it's made with enriched wheat flour that's been bleached with chemicals like chlorine dioxide to achieve that pristine white color. The cheese contains multiple emulsifiers and stabilizers to maintain texture during mass production and cross-country shipping. What bothers me most is the deception. You're paying premium prices for what's essentially factory food dressed up with artisanal marketing. When a company charges $8 for a breakfast sandwich while loading it with the same industrial ingredients as gas station food, that's not integrity, that's calculated exploitation of consumer trust. The name tells you everything you need to know about Burger King's priorities. Fully loaded doesn't refer to nutrition. It refers to how much processed meat they can cram into one sandwich while maximizing profit margins. This sandwich stacks sausage, bacon, ham, and cheese onto a croissant that contains multiple dough conditioners and preservatives to maintain texture during shipping and storage. The processed meats are loaded with sodium nitrite, sodium erythorbate, and BHT, a petroleum derivative that's also used in cosmetics and jet fuel. The calorie count and fat content well exceed what most people need for breakfast, but the real issue is what's missing: fiber, vitamins, minerals, and any nutrients that actually support human health. When I see this sandwich, I see a company that's literally serving petroleum derivatives for breakfast and calling it food. That's not nutrition. That's chemistry disguised as convenience. Dunkin' built their empire on coffee, but their breakfast offerings reveal how far the food industry has strayed from actual food. At 720 calories with 34 grams of fat and 1,500 milligrams of sodium, this sandwich delivers 2/3 of your daily sodium allowance before noon. That croissant commonly contains L-cysteine, an amino acid that can be derived from duck feathers, human hair, or synthetic sources. While the FDA considers it safe, most commercial L-cysteine in the U.S. food supply is reportedly sourced from animal byproducts. The sausage patty is commonly made with mechanically separated meat, a process where animal parts are forced through a sieve under high pressure to create a paste-like substance that can then be formed into familiar shapes. Here's what gets me. Dunkin' is serving this knowing that 12 grams of saturated fat in one meal directly raises LDL cholesterol levels. They've done the math and decided that your cardiovascular health is worth less than their profit margins. IHOP's chicken and waffles represents the moment American breakfast culture completely lost its way. At over 1,000 calories with 50 grams of fat, 22 grams of saturated fat, and nearly 2,000 milligrams of sodium, this isn't a meal, it's a metabolic assault. Those waffles contain high fructose corn syrup, artificial flavors, and mono and diglycerides, emulsifiers that help industrial food maintain texture during mass production and cross-country shipping. The fried chicken is coated with modified food starch and seasoned with MSG to enhance flavor artificially. But here's the part that really bothers me. With 97 grams of carbohydrates and only 5 grams of fiber, this meal sends your blood sugar skyrocketing while providing virtually no nutrients. It's 1,000 calories of empty energy that leaves you hungrier again within hours. When a restaurant markets a chemistry experiment as a family meal, they're not feeding people. They're exploiting our evolutionary craving for sugar and fat to maximize profit. Starbucks has convinced America that their coffee shops represent sophisticated European cafe culture. But this breakfast combination delivers over 780 calories and nearly 90 grams of sugar, more than 2 cans of Coca-Cola. That muffin commonly contains carrageenan, a seaweed extract that's FDA approved as a thickener, but has been the subject of ongoing health debates. While permitted in most foods, it's been restricted in infant formula in the EU due to potential digestive concerns. The cream cheese filling is stabilized with multiple chemical preservatives to maintain texture during shipping. The white chocolate mocha doesn't contain actual chocolate. It's corn syrup, palm oil, and artificial flavoring designed to trigger dopamine responses in your brain without providing any of the antioxidants found in real cocoa. What makes this particularly insidious is the marketing. Starbucks positions this as a sophisticated morning treat when it's actually a sugar bomb wrapped in cafe aesthetics. You're not getting European coffee culture. You're getting American food engineering disguised as sophistication. Chick-fil-A has mastered the art of wholesome branding while serving highly processed food. At 460 calories, this sandwich might seem modest, but it packs 1,510 milligrams of sodium, 2/3 of what most people should consume in an entire day. That chicken breast isn't just chicken. It's been injected with a sodium solution to increase weight and enhance flavor while boosting profit margins. The breading contains autolyzed yeast extract, which is essentially a form of MSG used to enhance flavor artificially. The biscuit is made with aluminum phosphate, a leavening agent that's also used in ceramics and construction materials. While the FDA allows it in food, aluminum compounds can accumulate in tissues over time. When a company wraps industrial chemicals in Christian imagery and markets it as wholesome family food, they're not serving your values, they're exploiting your trust while serving their shareholders. Taco Bell's breakfast strategy is brilliantly simple. Take dinner ingredients, add an egg, and serve it before 11 a.m. At 750 calories with 49 grams of fat, 17 grams saturated, and 1,210 milligrams of sodium, this wrap delivers almost an entire day's worth of saturated fat in one meal. That flour tortilla contains fumaric acid, a preservative that's also used in animal feed and construction production to prevent cracking. The FDA allows it because it's generally recognized as safe, but that's regulatory speak for we haven't proven it kills you yet. The processed cheese contains multiple emulsifiers and anti-caking agents to maintain texture. The sausage is mechanically separated pork, animal parts forced through mesh screens to create a paste that can be formed into crumbles. What makes me sick is the target demographic. Taco Bell aggressively markets this to college students and young adults, people with limited budgets who think they're getting affordable nutrition when they're actually getting industrial waste disguised as breakfast. I have a confession. I was addicted to McGriddles for about 6 months in college. The sweet-salty combination was like crack to my sleep-deprived, stressed-out brain. Then I looked at the numbers. At 550 calories with 33 grams of fat and 1,290 milligrams of sodium, those griddle cakes aren't pancakes. They're sugar delivery devices engineered to create maximum craving. McDonald's literally developed a process to inject maple syrup crystals directly into the batter. Not real maple syrup, high fructose corn syrup crystals designed to burst on your tongue and flood your brain with sweetness. Here's the thing that bothers me most. It works. The combination of processed sausage, artificial cheese, and sugar-infused bread hits every pleasure receptor in your brain. You feel amazing for about 30 minutes, then crash harder than a dropped phone. The result? 15 grams of sugar, 13 of which are added, enough sodium to make you thirsty for hours, and a blood sugar roller coaster that'll have you reaching for more processed food by 10 a.m. It's not your fault if you love these. They're literally designed to be irresistible. But now you know why. Wendy's entered the breakfast game with a clear mission: create the most calorie-dense and sodium-heavy morning meal possible. The Breakfast Baconator delivers 704 calories with 44 grams of fat, 15 grams saturated, and up to 1,800 milligrams of sodium. That bacon contains sodium erythrobate, a preservative that helps maintain color and extend shelf life. The sausage may include BHT, butylated hydroxytoluene, a petroleum-derived preservative that's FDA approved but has been linked to potential health concerns in some animal studies. BHT is commonly used to prevent rancidity in processed foods. What this means is that the cheese sauce isn't cheese. It's processed cheese food stabilized with sodium phosphate, the same compound used in laundry detergents. When heated, it creates a texture that our brains interpret as indulgent while delivering virtually no nutritional value. What really gets me is the brazen disregard for health. Wendy's knows that nearly 1,800 milligrams of sodium can spike blood pressure and strain kidneys, but they serve it anyway because extreme flavors drive sales and customer addiction. Hardee's markets itself as the rebellious fast food chain, but their rebellion is against basic nutritional principles. This combo meal combines processed ham that's up to 40% added water by wheat with a croissant made using multiple industrial chemicals. The ham contains sodium phosphate, the same chemical used in laundry detergent to prevent staining. It's injected to increase weight and create the appearance of premium meat while you're literally paying meat prices for salt water. The croissant contains multiple dough conditioners and preservatives to maintain texture during mass production. Combined with the fried hash browns, you're consuming enough sodium to strain your kidneys and enough industrial fat to stress out your cardiovascular system. When I see this meal, I see a company that's figured out how to sell water, detergent chemicals, and fried starch. That's not nutrition, it's corporate alchemy turning worthless ingredients into profit. The ultimate breakfast platter earns its place in the top 3 by delivering 930 calories and a staggering 110 grams of carbohydrates, including 40 grams of sugar in one meal. Those pancakes commonly contain azodicarbonamide, a dough conditioner that's FDA approved in the US but banned in Europe and Australia due to potential health concerns when heated. The syrup isn't maple, it's high fructose corn syrup with artificial maple flavoring and caramel coloring. The scrambled eggs aren't eggs. They're liquid egg product with added gums and stabilizers to maintain consistent texture across mass production. What makes this particularly outrageous is the carbohydrate density. At 110 grams of carbs, you're consuming the equivalent of 27 teaspoons of sugar in one sitting. That's not breakfast, that's a metabolic assault disguised as a meal. Taking the silver medal for nutritional destruction, Hardee's breakfast platter with sausage delivers 1,150 calories, 79 grams of fat, 26 grams saturated, and a shocking 2,420 milligrams of sodium, more salt than most people should consume in an entire day. But here's the real kicker. This meal contains 2 grams of trans fat, not trace amounts, deliberate added trans fat. The American Heart Association says there's no safe level of trans fat consumption because even small amounts raise bad cholesterol and increase heart disease risk. The sausage contains mechanically separated pork treated with nitrites and other preservatives. The hash browns are fried in oil that may contain TBHQ, a petroleum-derived preservative that's FDA approved in small amounts, but banned or restricted in several countries. While considered safe at approved levels, high doses can be toxic. Let me put this in perspective. Hardee's is deliberately serving heart-damaging trans fat because it extends shelf life and increases profit margins. They've calculated that your cardiovascular health isn't worth the cost of safer ingredients. And here it is, the breakfast that made me completely rethink everything I thought I knew about fast food. McDonald's Big Breakfast with Hotcakes contains 1,340 calories, 63 grams of fat, 24 grams saturated, 2,070 milligrams of sodium, and 158 grams of carbohydrates, including 48 grams of sugar. I used to order this thinking, hey, I'm getting pancakes, eggs, sausage. That's basically what I would make at home, right? Wrong. So very wrong. This isn't just a meal. It's a masterclass in food engineering. Those hotcakes commonly contain azodicarbonamide, a dough conditioner that's FDA approved in the US but banned in Europe and Australia due to health concerns when heated. The hash browns are fried in oil that may contain TBHQ, a petroleum-derived preservative that's approved in small amounts but restricted in several countries. What really blew my mind was the sheer scale of nutritional damage. 1,340 calories, it's like eating 6 slices of pizza for breakfast. The 2,070 milligrams of sodium is like dumping nearly a teaspoon of salt on your food. The 48 grams of sugar equals 12 teaspoons. Imagine spooning that much sugar directly into your mouth. Picture this. You're basically eating more than half your daily calories before most people have even gotten to work. Your pancreas is working overtime, your blood pressure is spiking, and your energy is about to crash harder than my motivation on a Monday morning. McDonald's didn't accidentally create this breakfast. They engineered it to hit every pleasure center in your brain while maximizing profit margins. It's brilliant business. Terrible nutrition. After analyzing the nutritional data on these 14 breakfast disasters, one pattern becomes crystal clear. This isn't about nutrition. It's about engineering addiction while maximizing profit. Every single breakfast on this list shares the same destructive characteristics. Most exceed 700 to 1,340 calories, half a day's worth of energy consumed before noon, designed to overwhelm your body's natural satiety signals and create dependency. Many contain 1,300 to 2,420 milligrams of sodium, enough to spike blood pressure and strain kidneys for hours while creating artificial cravings for more processed food. From azodicarbonamide to TBHQ to sodium nitrite, these meals rely on industrial chemicals to maintain texture, color, and shelf life regardless of long-term health impact. With 15 to 48 grams of sugar per meal, they're designed to spike blood glucose and create the crash and crave cycle that keeps customers returning. Real food has been replaced with paste-like substances created by forcing animal parts through industrial machinery, then reformed into familiar shapes. This isn't accidental. Food scientists have deliberately engineered these combinations to override your brain's natural hunger and satisfaction signals. They use terms like hyperpalatability and bliss point, foods so intensely flavored and textured that they become literally addictive. Okay, I know what you're thinking. This is all terrible, but I still need breakfast on the go sometimes. I get it. Life is busy, and sometimes drive-thrus are your only option. The good news? Not all fast food breakfast is created equal. Here are some options that won't wreck your day. 170 calories, 13 grams protein, 650 milligrams sodium. Real ingredients you can actually pronounce. 410 calories, 21 grams protein, 990 milligrams sodium. Yes, it's still high in sodium, but it's real food with actual vegetables. 300 calories, 17 grams protein, 820 milligrams sodium. Sometimes simple is better. It's basically the same ingredients as a homemade breakfast sandwich. 290 calories, 25 grams protein, 970 milligrams sodium. When you remove the processed bread, you're left with mostly real food. 180 calories, 11 grams protein, 490 milligrams sodium. Their least processed option. The pattern here is choose items with fewer ingredients, more protein, and recognizable foods. You're still not getting a perfect meal, but you're not poisoning yourself either. Here's what I learned after going down this rabbit hole. Real breakfast doesn't require a chemistry lab or a PhD in nutrition to understand. Real eggs from actual chickens provide complete proteins and healthy fats without propylene glycol or industrial stabilizers. Real meat from real animals delivers protein without mechanically separated paste or petroleum derivatives. Real bread made from flour, water, yeast, and salt nourishes without azodicarbonamide or aluminum compounds. Real fruit and vegetables provide vitamins and fiber without artificial colors or high fructose corn syrup. The difference is dramatic. When you eat real food, you feel satisfied for hours. Your energy stays stable, your cravings disappear, your body gets what it actually needs. And here's the secret. It's often faster and cheaper to make real breakfast at home. 2 scrambled eggs and a piece of actual bread takes 3 minutes and costs about $1.50. Compare that to spending $8 and 15 minutes in a drive-thru line for food that'll make you hungry again in 2 hours. Here's what I need you to do, and I promise it's not about shaming yourself for past choices. We've all been there. I've eaten every single breakfast on this list, probably multiple times. But starting tomorrow, try this experiment. Eat one real breakfast. 2 eggs, a piece of actual bread, maybe some fruit. Track how you feel. Notice your energy levels. Pay attention to how long you stay satisfied. Then, the next day, Eat one of these fast food disasters and do the same tracking. I guarantee you'll feel the difference. Your body will thank you for the real food and revolt against the processed chemistry set. If this investigation opened your eyes, share it with someone you care about. Not to make them feel guilty about their breakfast choices, but to give them the information they deserve to make better decisions. Drop a comment and tell me which breakfast shocked you the most, and are you willing to try the real food experiment? Remember, you're not a bad person for eating processed food. These companies have spent billions making sure their products are irresistible. But now that you know what's really in them, you have the power to choose differently. And that choice isn't between convenience and health, it's between being informed and being manipulated. The power is yours. Use it wisely. If you want more investigations into what corporate America doesn't want you to know, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Next week, I'm exposing the healthy lunch chains that are actually worse than McDonald's. Until then, eat real food, question everything, and remember, what's legal doesn't mean what's safe.